Hello, 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 hello. Hi, guys. Happy Sunday. Hi, Loretta. You just drove by my house again? Well, safe travels. I need your new internet. Mine's been giving me fits all day. Oh, Cindy. Oh, I can so relate, right? Hello, guys. Hello, hello. I should move my mouse so that I can see that everything is good to go. It looks like we're still waiting to go. There we go. We're up over on. Um, oh, bummer, Linda. Oh, we'll have to see if Santa can get one to you. Right? Hi, guys. So we're streaming both on my Facebook page and on YouTube. Let's just say I have had amazing Wi-Fi numbers and results lately. So, sorry, I still have a cough drop. So if there's any glitching, it's Facebook and YouTube. It's not me. So, hi, Peg. Hi, Ann. Hi, Laura. Working on the bells. Oh, wonderful. Hi, Chris and Donna and Patrick. Bonjour. I was able to share its important part. Oh, you're sweet. I appreciate that. Hi, Jackie. Hi, Ellie. Oh my goodness, so many of you guys on. Hi, Lucy. I think the neighbors just heard me screaming when when we beat the Falcons. Oh, too funny. So, did anyone watch the World Cup finale? I see that Argentina won. Oh, thank you, Debbie, for sprinkling. So, yes, I would love for you to like, comment, share. And if you're on YouTube and you've not subscribed, we'd love for you to subscribe as well. Would appreciate that. Oh, Isabel, thank you so much. One of these days, I'm going to get down there to you. I have always wanted to come to Colombia and South America. The furthest I've been is Mexico. So you're glad Argentina won? Yeah, I was too. I was too. I would have liked for the US or England to have won, but that's okay too. So, hi, Claudette. Hi, Suzanne. Hi, Melissa. Aloha. So, yes, so I have to tell you guys because, like I said, we're streaming on both. Got some big hair today. I guess I'm from the South. Big hair don't care, right? But it's big. That's right. Go Saints. Right. I know I saw Patrick. Yes. Not a soccer fan. I am only because having three boys, they all played soccer, and my middle is kind of obsessed with soccer. And my nephew was an amazing soccer player. Anyway, so let's get back to internet. Hi, Marty. Hi, Lorraine. Medford has snow on the ground and more is expected. Oh my, and cold Utah. Hi, Tamara. Yeah, it's, I want to say it is probably in the 60s here. I have my new computer in front of me and it doesn't have the temperature at the bottom. I'm going to have to figure out how to do that because I do like knowing the temp outside. Anyway, so as you know, for, oh my goodness, months and months, I have had horrendous Wi-Fi issues. And have gone old school live on my YouTube channel and with my membership group. And it's been a little bit of a nightmare. And I would be lying if I didn't say it was and has been extremely stressful on my end because I like things to, I don't know, just go without a hitch. So, I think I mentioned this on the last live when I did the penguin, that my husband stopped at our neighbor's house a couple of weeks ago, or maybe, yeah, a couple weeks ago, because there was a kinetic truck, which is actually Windstream. And so he stopped and talked to the guy that was putting in the cable. It's actually fiber. And so he said, can you call my wife and get an appointment set up to come out and possibly do that? So that was Thursday. The week before last. On Friday, they called me. Monday last week, so a week ago tomorrow, they came out and they put in my Wi-Fi. Now, I know I've told you this before. If your Wi-Fi is lagging, whatever, you can test it on your computer or your iPad, even iPhone, speedtest.com, and it'll tell you your download numbers and your upload numbers. I'm not going to spend much time on this, but when we were having all the glitching and the issues, mine was like 1.5 to 8. Now my Wi-Fi is 5 to 6 to 700 download and upload. Let me just tell you, I'm a happy camper because it was stressing me out. So, you just had some company show up. Oh, no problem, Brenda. You can come back and watch. It's 46 in North Georgia. Hi, Julie, down in Louisiana. I hope everything in your neck of the woods, and Linda Safranco and my other friends in Louisiana from the storms last week were so scary to see. I take 60. It's 27 and snowing in Ohio. Yeah, you can keep that, Cindy. Sorry. I hope you had a wonderful birthday. So, anywho's, so I'm just on cloud nine. Let me just say that. And I did a lesson with my membership group on Thursday. I think I have that page. Let me show you. It's so cute. So every month this year we've been doing the flower of the month. And for December, it was paper whites or holly. And I decided to do holly because I love holly. So, and so that they don't have to go out and get 1,000 different surfaces, we create in an art journal. So this was our page that we did for December for holly. And then we always, I always really encourage to have them put on it whatever they want. One of my members does a poem, which is beautiful. But I'm going to share soon all 12 of the pages that we've done and put it like in a little montage, and I'll put that on my page someday, hopefully this week. I was lucky, a lot of others were not. Oh, goodness, Julie. Well, I'm glad that you're okay and everything you have there is okay. There's too much traffic on the frequency, or yes, Lucy, that can make a difference too. Who did I just see? Hello, Lynette. Good to see you. And Elizabeth. Oh, thank you, Loretta. Yeah, we have a great time. So, and 3 new members this week. So welcome to those that have joined us. We have a lot planned and a lot of painting and creating to do next year. And so I've been planning. And then the other thing we do, I go that way, we have a Zoom class, a members only Zoom class that's quarterly, that's free. But that way I get to see everybody. And this month, actually on New Year's Eve, we're doing this. It's from my book, my one and only Be Inspired book that I created, oh my gosh, maybe 4 or 5 years ago. So that's our Zoom class. Anyhows, so let's see. Hi there from SoCal. Hello, Susan. I love our membership group. Faye, I love our membership group too, and I love that you're in it. So, hi, Letitia. Hi, Joyce. Hi, Karen. 33 in Georgian Bay. Hello, Vicky. Hi, Bev. So many of you on, guys. Great to see ya. All right. So, yeah, if you like, comment, share. And then also on YouTube and also on Facebook. On YouTube, there's a little $sign. On Facebook, there's stars, usually in the comment section. I typically don't see them because I'm doing the live, but any monies that are sent that way is going to the World Central Kitchen to feed people around the world that need to be fed. So I have your book and love it. Thank you, Peg. Thank you. Yeah, and it's nice because, again, doing the Zoom classes quarterly with my group, I at least get to see everybody because usually they just see me. So, anyway, let's see. Glad to see. Oh, yes, my internet's better than well. I don't know. I think I talked to my mom after my class. She called me for something and I said, I'm about to open a bottle of Prosecco because I'm having a party. My internet went off without a hitch and was amazing. So what are you painting? So Monica, today I am painting this, and we're about to get started. I want to give everybody about 10 minutes to jump on. We're gonna do my little 'Tis the Season bear. And I wish I could show you the other bear I designed. So cute. But that's actually a design for OKC Painting Palooza. So I can't share it just yet. And if they don't pick it, then I'll be painting it with y'all. So possibly, maybe. Didn't realize there was a live today. There is Linda. Good to see you on. The last one of the year. I was ready to do Blue on Blue project. Oh, Lori, that's the 31st. And I'll send that information out to everybody that's here because I see a lot of my members in my membership group. That information is going to go to you soon. So hi, Carol. All right, guys, let's get started because we've got a lot to cover. I have some giveaways from the last live. And the last live was my penguin. Thank you guys so very much for everybody that purchased the e-packet. Greatly appreciate you. And then also today, this one's been flying out of my emails, so I appreciate that. It certainly allows me to continue to do these lives and bring lessons and content to you guys. So I dearly, dearly appreciate it. So let's take care of some giveaways first, all right? So I just saw a message pop up. Hello, my friend, my Memphis friend, Marlene. Good to see you on. Hi, Sue. Merry Christmas to you too. So yes, and happy Hanukkah and happy Kwanzaa, happy everything. So, all right, let's take care of our giveaways for, what was it, 2 weeks ago. And I'll go ahead and just come right down here. Oh, I love that. I have missed being able to push a button and go. Okay, let's zoom in just a little. So I had 3 stamps for one of the giveaways 2 weeks ago, and I know who this person is, and this is going down under to Yvonne Russell in Australia. So Yvonne, I have your information, and I will get that off to you. Okay? And then we had 3 other stamp sets. So that one, and then the postcard Santa. And that is Miss Sharita Roberts. I have your info from your last order. So I will get that sent to you over to Oklahoma. Alrighty, and then our last one was for 5 M square stencils. So if you're not familiar with M square, it's a stencil line I have with Tracy Moreau McTier, hence M squared. And the winner of those is Leah Looper. Leah, I believe, well, I'm not exactly sure where you're at. So send me your details and let me know your address in a private message or email, and I will get this out to you. Okay. Hi, Linda. Good to see you on. Okay, now giveaways for this week, and I have a lot. Well, I have, oh, crumb cakes. I just dropped something. All right, let's get that. Oh, out of the way. So I have another set of stencils. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 5 stencils. All you have to do is to enter is like, comment, share. And I will be doing the drawing on our next live, which is going to be the sometime in January. I'll let you know. Okay, not exactly sure, but this is one giveaway. Another giveaway I have is from my friends at General Pencil, and that is for the Kiss Off stain remover and soap, and then the brush cleaner and preserver. Okay, so another lucky winner will get those. Okay, so as you know, I started carrying these. I have them in, 8 ounce. Well, it's like 8.4, and I have them in 2 ounce. But for this giveaway, I'm doing 1 8-ounce jar of each of the fast drying glaze medium and the glaze medium. So another winner for those. And then I have this. It is Deco Art's Water Marbling Kit, and it comes with all that. So a selection of the paints, the papers, the tray. And I have videos on YouTube showing you guys how to do this. So, and then you can also go to decoart.com. They have them as well. But this is another prize. How awesome is that? So again, like, comment, share. Hi, Kathy Barnett. Good to see you. Okay. And then I have two more. And this is for a set of 6 micron brushes. So Dynasty brushes. And they are amazing for detail work. Just incredible quality, beautiful brushes. I love the handle. I love the way it moves in my fingers. So another winner for 6 micron brushes by Dynasty. My friends over at Dynasty, thank you, thank you. All right, and then my last journal from Turkey. So one lucky winner, this is from Turkey, handmade in Turkey. On my recent trip in September to Turkey, I picked up several. And so this journal will go to one lucky winner. Again, like, comment, share. That's all you have to do. And if you're over on YouTube, and if you haven't, I'd love for you to subscribe. So awesome, awesome prizes, right? Let me just move those so I can keep them all together. I had Happy Mail this week. In fact, I'm wearing one of the pins Tracy gave me. Had beautiful cards. I should have pulled those out so I could show you. But love these little snowflakes. Southern Ridge Trading Company. And that's their website right there, chipboard.ca. But Tracy Moreau also carries a lot on her website. Let me just put that up. And that's Tracy's website. But anyway, super sweet. Love these trays. Can't wait to play with them. And then some more pins. Again, they're the Random Act of Kindness pins. And then, of course, she's got this great new set out with all these barn animals. And I love the surfaces. Cannot wait to create on them. Oh, there's the cow. And I painted the bee, but I can't find him. He flew away somewhere in my studio. So I cannot wait to create on those. Thank you, Trace. I appreciate it. All right, let's move those out of the way. And let's get started. Okay, so this is the newest in my set. This was the first one I did over on Creative Innovations in Painting. You can find the lesson recording for this. It's also on my YouTube channel, but let me just say it was a recording from Zoom that was then emailed to me and downloaded. So I don't know that the quality's the best video. And I love this project so much that I might re-record it because I'd like for it to be a little better quality video. All right, almost missed the show. Hello, Judy Thacker. Good to see you. Okay, and then on the Holiday Art Parade on Facebook, I did, it's like 46 minutes or something, the Nutcracker, and that is a lesson on my YouTube channel, so you can watch that later. And then my penguin, I love him. You guys seriously this is probably one of my best sellers for the year. The e-packet's been flying out of my inbox. But he just makes me smile. So we've got the penguin, and then of course the teddy bear today. All right, so let's get started. Oh, thank you, Yvonne. I appreciate that. Marlene Snyder, I will email you later about that. I have it. This used to be, let me tell you guys, this used to be in a packet. It was a We Three Friends packet. So We Three Friends, Tracy Moreau, Deb Antonick, and I. And so there are 3 different designs. in it, and we decided to break it up and do individual e-packets. So I do have that. I just don't have it on my website yet. All right. Okay. So, yes, I love the penguin. He just makes me smile. Okay, so let's get started. And I love these little breadboards. Tracy sent them to me months ago, and I thought, oh, I have to create something on that. And that's when I did that snowman. So I get a lot of questions, messages, and I thought it would be very helpful to share with you guys for those that aren't real familiar with transferring a pattern, okay? So when I do an e-packet, let me see if I have it here. I don't know that I do. I do not. Okay, so and when you print it out, and if you print it out on vellum, you'll be able to see underneath, all right? Like if you missed a line, which I did earlier, I missed his leg. So, and then putting transfer paper down, and when I use vellum, I will use a stylus. Sometimes I use a pen. It just depends. But you can just go over the lines and then lift up to make sure that you have everything on there. The other cool thing about this technique or this way of transferring patterns, it's not my typical way. I usually just use white computer paper and go and hope that it lines up. But the cool thing about this is when you have the face details and you've painted the face in solid, to have to lay your pattern back down exactly in the same spot can be a little tricky when you're on computer paper, when you're on vellum. And I get this from Amazon. I put the link in the on the penguin lesson. So I will do that when we get done here. I'll put the link for the vellum. But it's nice that you can then go in. I can lay this on top, put the details. I'm probably going to wing it today, just because that's what I do. But let's get started. So I transferred the pattern and I did the background exactly the same way that I did the penguin background. So if you missed that, you can go back and watch that penguin video on my YouTube channel. Okay. And then we have snowflakes. And so we're going to get that. Let me grab something real quick that I left over at my other workstation. Hello. We're going to grab some paper, palette paper here, and some warm white. So that's Snow Titanium. I want warm white. Oh, thank you, Susan. I appreciate it. Do you print straight on the vellum? I do, Sharita. That goes into my my inkjet printer, and it prints right on the vellum, beautifully, I might add. So, okay, dry paper towel. We're going to load up a stencil brush. I'm using the Stencil Pros, 1/2 inch, 5/8 will work too. A great stencil brush line by Dynasty. I want to wipe almost all that paint off. And then you can put these wherever you want. I kind of liked this up here. Soft circular motion, clockwise, counterclockwise. Does not matter if it's fully on or if some of it's missing. It's in the background. It's just adding a little bit of interest. Okay. And then, you know, have them go off the edge. Too bright. So I'm going to wipe it with my finger. Put that one there. And so, see, I laid it in place and then I just went back and forth, kind of missing the arm. But if it gets on it, that's okay too. Okay, and again, I just kind of like to rub that with my finger to get that brightness away. Soft circular motions. Haven't had to reload my brush. Too much. All right, maybe one up here. Again, kind of wipe that with your finger. Yay, no tracing. Right? So, then we're going to do the texture for the bear. Now, if you've ever watched Holly Hanley, she uses snow text, which is amazing. Takes a long time to dry. So I'm going to use gesso because that's what I used on my original. And it worked beautifully. And you can use a scruffy brush. I'm going to use a medium Mezzaluna Dynasty brush. I use these for dry brushing. But let's go ahead and get some of that gesso out. Now you want a gesso that's got some body to it. Nothing that's real runny. If you don't have gesso, for that matter, you can use paint. Stipple it on, let it get some texture to it, let it dry, and then do a second layer. So now I got all those little crumbs everywhere. Okay, so I'm gonna load that up, both sides. Hi, Norma. And then I'm going to stop. I missed a step. I knew I was going to do that. Let's put this to the side because this is another trick that will help you know where your pattern is. So I'm going to load some asphaltum. I almost just hosed it. And so that's asphaltum and Payne's Gray. Now you can use Payne's Gray in regular Americana or whatever brand you use, but I like it in the media line because I like the transparency of it. All right. And then a 3/8 angle. Okay. Thank you, Molly Ann. Did someone say it's blurred? You're just a little blurred. Oh, well, I'm glad somebody else's isn't because mine looks not blurred. So, okay. So with the 3/8 angle, I'm going to move that out of the way, or I'm going to get my hand right into it. I'm going to take that 3/8 angle with a little bit of moisture in it, okay? And asphaltum on the toe, work that in. A little bit of Payne's Gray. That's a lot of Payne's Gray, so let's get more asphaltum. And just work that in on the toe of the brush. I'll just kind of walk out to the right just a little so that it's not as dark. And I'm going to float this color very loosely where I would normally shade this color, okay? So where the ears meet the head. And I'm kind of just doing like a little motion like that. Again, very loose floating up underneath the bow tie where the bow meets the arm. Again, we're going to repeat this step, but it is going to help you know where things go. Especially when we go to put that gesso on. So, little shading there. So it doesn't matter if it's pretty. We're not going for pretty. We're just going for placement. All right, let me just see. So if I miss a question, I will go back and answer it. Just because it's kind of hard sometimes for me to look up and paint and read questions and then go back to painting. So, all right, so just especially where things meet is what I'm most concerned. See how it's dragging? When it starts to drag on you, you need more water or fast drying glaze, whatever you use, some extender to help you keep that paint moving. I'm just gonna float there. Where else did I have it? A little there underneath the arm. And he just starts to come to life, doesn't he? Around the ornament. Okay. In one more place. Right where his snout or nose area is going to be separated. See if I missed anything. All good. Okay, let's let this set up for a second. And then I'm going to show you for the ornament, I went ahead and used a circle stencil. So you can get these online. This one's from Michael's, and it's a 1 3/8 diameter circle. And so I'm going to go ahead and do that first with that warm white. So I'll just come there. See, I was so excited to show you that gesso. I almost hosed doing all this. Okay, soft circular motion. I loaded the brush up, wiped it off, and we're going to let that dry. Okay, and then a little bit of black. You could use the Payne's Gray, but I do want this to be a little bit darker. So I'm using lamp black and a small brush. It's like a number 4 flat, whatever flat small brush you have. And I want to paint in the ornament topper. That little ornament topper right there. Okay, so we've got our shading on, separating elements. Our ornament topper is black. It's actually going to be silver, but silver shows up much better when you put it on dark color, black. And if you wanted a lighter silver, we could do it white. But I like it over black. Okay, so we'll rinse that out. Now, now let's come in with our small brush with that warm white and paint our bow. This is probably going to need to be painted again, but you know, we can get these elements in and then let them dry, come back and paint them again with a second coat. And then just that other loop. I originally, and if you got the e-packet, you'll see the picture. I originally had done like, you could see inside the loops. And as I was painting it, it kept bothering me. So I took it out and just made it look like his bow tie is straight on. And then just a little bit in there. Okay. Again, nothing pretty. Hi, Anne. Yes, she is out of those snowflakes. Yes. So maybe, where'd those go? Maybe if you checked Chipboard CA, I know that they ship pretty quick. Alrighty. Oh, thank you, Chris. Okay. So now let's go to the step I was going to jump right into. Medium mezzaluna. And I'm going to zoom in so you can see how much texture this is going to give it. Okay. Into that gesso. And I'm going to be strategic about where I put it. Okay. So I'm going to tap it on that ear. So I'm on the corner. I'm going to tap that on the ear. Now, the shading is helping me see my sections. We're going to end up going over it, and that's okay. You want to go right over those transfer lines and everything. Just make it nice and fluffy and furry and very teddy bear-like. Okay, so I'm going to go here, and I'm just kind of flip-flopping back and forth on that corner to add additional texture, get more of that gesso off. Okay. If you go outside the lines, just push it right back in. I'm going to leave this part for now, and then we're going to come down here and do the foot, a little bit in there. And the other thing, printing your pattern on vellum, again, you'll be able to lay it down and see, or tracing paper if that works for you, to see where those sections are. But I don't know if you can see, I can leave, you can leave a little space in there, like I did on that one. A little bit in the pad, a little bit on the leg. And I'm going with the shape of that, like the shape of the leg. So it will help too. You'll be able to see the direction of how that gesso being tapped on is. So I can see that that's the roundness of the foot, right? Hopefully you're seeing that as well. Okay, and then a little bit in the pad. Typically, without shading, I would have done like, gone over it with a permanent black marker, but I really didn't want him to be outlined. I really wanted it to look more like a, a teddy bear. Not have that harsh outline to him. Get that off that bow. Okay, and then let's see. I saw a question pop up, and let's see if I need to answer it. Okay, and then underneath the bow, and if you get it on the bow, just kind of wipe it off, or on the ornament and wipe it off. Excuse me, I was chewing on my cough drop there. Now what you can do is you can let this dry, come in, do a second layer, and that would add even more texture. But you see the texture when you go to put the paint on. And I'll do that with a couple different brushes. So I want to make sure that I'm covering those lines or right to them. Okay, and then we'll do the little nose area there. Again, I'm just going to smooth out that gesso on the bow. There we go. So hopefully, again, you can still see all those different sections because that shading helped me know where everything is, the shape of everything. All right, let's dry that. Well, Linda, like I said, Holly Hanley has done it with Snow Text, which has a great texture to it. In fact, she did it. She was a guest artist in my membership group and did a bear, which was adorable. I need a little more on the ear. And I love the technique, but I wanted it to be able to dry quicker. And I thought, what's going to add that texture to it? And you can feel the texture to it. And gesso, of course, is my best friend. I love gesso. So I was a little sparse here, so I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit more on the belly area because we see more of that than anything else, like the biggest area on here. So a little bit more of that gesso on his belly. Holly Hanley is awesome. She's amazing. So flippin' cute. Okay. See how, it's dry. Okay. Now, let's wipe this off really, really well. And when you're using the Mezzaluna brushes, if you want to switch colors, you can go to hand sanitizer. Let's move it over here somewhere. Okay. Because, especially stencil brushes, if you submerge those in water, they hold all that water. I don't want this brush to hold the water. I just want to get rid of one color. The hand sanitizer is going to evaporate quicker, and it'll be ready for the next color. Okay, so now I can go right on. And I'm going to move that because I will get right into it. Let's get some deep ochre. Now, if you don't have deep ochre, you can use raw sienna. Sunset gold is a new color DecoArt has that's amazing. And I'm going to turn this so that I don't get into that gesso. And let's put some of this out. Remember, get those things off your paint bottles. They'll close much better and last longer for you. All right, so Deep Ochre by Sharita. Same brush. I'm going to load it up. Just kind of work it into the brush. Same thing. Going to pounce it around. Okay, so I don't have a lot of paint on there. Pull it down, work it in. That way you can control how much paint is on and going on. Okay, and then right up to the edge and everything. If you can't get to, like, I'm afraid I don't want to go too far out from the head, I can do that with a brush. So on the hands and the feet, on my original, I just covered them up. But I am going to leave that little pad area exposed. And again, this is deep ochre. Work that in, very little. If you wanted brown bear, you can just start with a darker color, like, you know, asphaltum or raw umber. I'm on the chisel now. And then again, you can go on each corner, each side, just to be able to get in there. And again, keeping the shape of everything. In fact, I probably could do that right up there. Yep. Okay, and this foot we see the bottom of, so I'm just gonna leave it like that. Actually, you know what? Let's just put it on there. Let's just put it on there. Just a little smattering of that color. Again, work it in. If you feel like you have too much, just, you know, swipe it across a paper towel. Okay, and then his other leg. Now the reason I did the black, even though I know I have to go over it again, is again to keep the shape of it, the main shape of it. All right, let's dry that. Let's see if I need anywhere else. It's gonna get more color and some washes of color because, as you know, I love to paint in layers. Hi, Tara, my Georgia neighbor. Okay, and that's probably, yep, that's dry. All right, now let's go to light buttermilk. So it's kind of a taffy color, if you will. I would say a little bit more than like an off-white or antique white. It's not that, but I don't know, it's like tapioca, but less. Same brush, just gonna wipe it off really well. I don't need to do the hand sanitizer thing. I just wanna wipe off a lot of that excess paint. Sorry, everything's shaking. Okay. And then a little bit of that light buttermilk. Work it in. See how it's kind of yellowy? I'm going to wipe it off. Load it up. Go to a different section. Work it in. Wipe it off. Now it's going to be a little bit more where I want it. Okay, so swipe it across a paper towel just because I don't want all that excess. I do want to start being a little bit more careful with where I'm putting things. Now notice I haven't done that, right? That's on purpose. So I'm going to tap around his ear. Tap around his ear. Tap around his head. Again, light buttermilk. And I'll hold this up in a second so you can see all that gorgeous texture it's given it. A little bit more and wipe it off. And if you go outside the line, like I did there, just lick your finger. Or, let me see if I have it. Do I have it? I do. So these Tombow erasers, these knockout erasers, and if you lick it or get it wet, it will help remove that paint. Okay, but I'm not worried about that because it's going to have a shadow there. Let's get that fuzziness of the bear on. Okay, light buttermilk. Oh, Dee, I am not almost done. You know me. I have lots of layers to do. Hi, Jerry. Okay, work it. Again, just tap, 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 tap. I'm wiping off the excess as I go. The thing is, if you have too much paint, like if I really loaded that up and went with that much paint, you're gonna just kind of go into everything. We want some of that yellow to show. In fact, I bring some of the yellow back with a little wash later because I know we're going to lose a lot of it with the next step. And I liked that yellow tone that it had, so. On the foot, we'll do a little bit in there again, just kind of a little dusting on the pad area on the paws. Again, use the chisel, the corner, the flat. New way to use a Mezzaluna brush, right? You really cannot go wrong with this. Okay, see, I'm starting to lose his arm there. I can see it. I don't know if you guys can see the line still, but starting to lose that. And again, that's where that having your pattern on vellum is going to help. And then I'm just going to put a little down here. Okay. Oh, thank you, Chris Avola. You and Molly Ann are so good. Put those links in for me. I greatly appreciate it. Okay, so let's dry this real quick. I'm gonna take another medium Mezzaluna, and I'm going to tap right in here. And again, if you get any of that on the bow tie, you can just rub it with your finger. Okay, and then dry that. Lois, you can use a Deerfoot. I have one right here. If it's really, really soft, you want to use not a lot of paint and just watch your pressure. You know, sometimes with that softer brush, it's just going to push it in and you kind of lose the texture. So whereas with the Mezzaluna, because it's a stiffer bristle, I could push a little bit hard and a little bit soft, and you still keep that texture because the bristles is helping make that texture. All right, so let me just hold this up so that you can hopefully see. So it's not just paint. I mean, I can feel the texture from the gesso. And that's, again, what I was going for. All right, so again, back to the light buttermilk, swipe off the excess. And I'm going to tap, 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 tap. Right on that snout. If that's what you call it, that's what I'm calling it. Okay. And again to dry it. Thank you, Norma. Alrighty, so let me just, I gotta move something real quick. All right. And then let's go back to a little hand sanitizer. Just a little. Get that out. It's just going to help you switch between colors easier instead of washing it out. They do hold a lot of paint too. Okay. And then you just want a good tester, you know, is in the palm of your hand. So you just want to make sure it's not wet, that hand sanitizer is already evaporated and it's dry. So now I want to go to some Snow Titanium White. Oh, that's really bad. Let's get that off there. Because then those little crispy things get into your paint. So I am going to go from the medium to the small every now and then. Mezzaluna. Okay. Let's see if I have another small. Yep, right there. Okay. So again, loading up that medium Mezzaluna, working that in, swiping a paper towel just to get rid of the excess. We're going to tap that on, tap, 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 tap. And we want some of that first color we put on, deep ochre, showing, but we're going to put a wash on as well because I do want more of it to show up. So small Mezzaluna with that white if you need to get into the ears, smaller areas. It's too small for that area. You could use warm white as well if you wanted to instead of titanium. I wanted it to be a little bit brighter for my wash of color. So I went with titanium white and then just a little in the pad. I almost did this part on another ornament just to, you know, show it to you finished and then start from there. But this, to me, is what makes this project so cute, is this technique and the way of stippling this paint on in layers, getting that beautiful texture. And so I figured I would just do it all while you guys are with me. Okay, a little bit more on the leg and on the foot, and then a little bit on the pad. Okay, but see, because we're working in sections, that initial shading really helped keep all those sections pretty separate. And my line even came back after adding that additional color. Excuse me. So let's dry this. He is so fluffy, isn't he? That's what I was going for. Fluffy, fluffy. And, you know, your shading, you could leave him lighter if you wanted to. If you don't want the dark, deep shading, some asphaltum will work instead of asphaltum and Payne's Gray. But I do like that rich, deep shading. So, okay. Now what I'm going to do is go back to that 3/8 angle. Let's move the hand sanitizer out of the way. Get a little bit of water, some asphaltum. Hopefully you can see that on my palette right there. I'm going to load that up. Tiny touch of Payne's Gray. And we're going to start where we started when we started doing him, which is right back, oops, too much, right back here and right where the ear. And so see how I'm kind of zigzagging? I don't want that to be a straight float of color because you'll lose that that connection. It's kind of zigzaggy. And I wiped it off because I wanted it to be a little bit better. And then let's get a mop. So I'll just use my IPC flat top mop, and then a little bit on this one. You could use a smaller angle brush too. Oh, I'm really liking that shading color actually compared to my original. But don't hesitate to do that like with your finger, how I just did that and softened it out. And I am pouncing on everything. Typically when I use a mop brush, I will soften on the other side because I don't want it to leave a straight line. But I actually want to soften this, so right over everything. Okay, let's go here. Let's see what's happening. My brush is too wet. Paint migrated. Get your brush back flat. Toe has asphaltum. Tiny touch of Payne's Gray. He is cute in white too, right? You can leave him like that. That's the great thing about this one. Like I said, you can make the shading a little bit lighter. You can, instead of putting the wash on, I'm going to do a wash. Because I wanted him a little bit more golden yellow bear color. A little bit where it meets the body. And then just soften, 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 right where that foot meets. And we'll just get that pad. I'm going to go ahead and do a little shading where it meets the ornament, even though hello, we will fix that up later. Just went right into everything. Almost got white paint on my, alrighty. A little bit more water just to get it to move. And then, let's see, let's go ahead and do his foot. Think of that motion, almost like a little zigzag. Almost like a little zigzag. Let's soften that out. Really, that softening is everything. Now, that one had a little more Payne's Gray in it. I think you can probably tell the difference. So again, if you like more of that brown shading, just use more asphaltum. This one's going to get just that little pad. Kind of soften that. I forgot the little pad over here. And it's just kind of like a little half circle. You could put the pattern back on and see where it goes, but I'm just winging it. And this one. Soften, soften, soften. And I went a little high there, but fixable. Okay, my color's migrating, so I need to rinse my brush. A little more asphaltum, tiny touch of Payne's Gray. Work that in, walk that around. Okay, so where his body meets his leg, let me turn that so I can get my hand out of the way. And then soften, soften, soften. And where that goes up actually to there. And we'll go ahead and just do a little bit underneath the bow. Soften. And then underneath the arm right here. The hand, the body, and then above the ornament. Again, asphaltum. I just started using the spray bottle technique. I love it for shading. Ah, awesome, Sandy. Okay, so I think we've gotten everything shaded. Oh, one place, right up here. Right around his nose. Again, little zigzags in and out. Keep that fluffiness. Oh, he's so cute. And again, you could keep the coloring just like this, but I'm gonna add, after I fix something right along there, float right along the bottom of his foot there. And where it meets that edge, just to make it a little bit darker. Again, asphaltum, Payne's Gray. And then we're gonna go right around his, hello, too much. I need to stop saying hello, don't I? The bottom of his foot. There we go. A little under his paw. Now I'm going to rinse that out. He is just snuggle fun. Thanks, Chris. Excuse me. Bye, Carol. Enjoy your family dinner tonight. Okay. I'm going to take that angle brush, pick up some water, and just on the toe, pick up a little bit of that deep ochre. And this is where I brought back in a little bit of that golden color. So a wash, but very little color. In fact, if you're afraid you have too much, you can always test it on your palm of your hand or on a piece of paper, or have a paper towel handy so that you can dry it and wipe it off if you need to. But I just brought some of that color back to him with a wash. And of course he's going to get some highlights, which is going to make him brighter, but a little bit more water just to thin that down. Okay, and a little bit there. Come up there and get some of that color, bring it down on his ears. And on his snout there. Okay, now let's dry that. Well, Sandy Pyle, are you painting now? You said you quit 20 years ago, so I hope that you're painting again. I'm without breath, wow. Oh, Isabel, thank you. That's so sweet. Okay, you could leave him, right? I mean, he's at a cute stage where you could just leave that color on him. But I wanted to add in some more highlight, if you will. So I went back to titanium white. Let's work that in. And I am going to, I don't know if I'm going to use the small one. Let's go to the big one, the medium. Just for time, that's going to help me. Okay, but I don't want a lot, just a little bit. We just want to highlight him. So very little pressure, very little paint. Move that brush around. If you do it like this in the same on the, on the chisel edge, you're going to get a pattern. So by moving your hand like you've had too much coffee or too much caffeine, that's going to help give you a much more unpatterned look. How about that? Okay, but you're still going to keep your shading. Now this is where I'm going to clean up that little mishap there. So I'm not really going down into that shading too much. Very little paint. Swipe it across the paper towel to get rid of some of that. On his belly, I'm going to kind of stay in that midsection. And once you kind of put these highlights on, if you want to, you can come back and give him a little bit more wash, but at the very end with that deep ochre, if you like that, more of a yellow look. But I am kind of staying, like on the middle of his leg. Use your finger to kind of rub that around if you need to. More on the top of his foot where maybe that light would hit it. Layers, layers, layers. Again, my preferred way to paint. Okay. So let's move on and get his little, okay, so let me just put him side by side because I have to say I'm really liking how light he is. Right back before the pandemic. Well, that is wonderful. I'm glad to hear that, Sandy, that you're painting again. Okay, so for him to be a little bit more brown, my shading is kind of what took over, and as I shaded him, I brought some of that asphaltum in. So asphaltum, water, just do a little bit of a again, artistic license. You can leave him the way he is, or you can add more of that asphaltum wash. Just a touch. See how on my palette there, very little paint, more water, less paint. But I like for there to be choices. Again, leave them lighter if you want to. Add more paint if you want to make them darker. Okay, now let me dry them. Oh, thank you, Anne. Thank you, Patrick. What time is it right now in France? 11 p.m. Okay. Now, this is where, like I said, you could come in and lay that vellum back down. Now, since we made him fluffy, his fur is going to go outside the lines, which is fine. But if you are afraid like to wing it, and let's put that there. If you're afraid to wing it, you can always lay that back in place, and I'll just show you. Put your transfer paper down. You can use a stylus. Do his eyes and his nose. Okay, cute, cute, cute. So I'm going to come in with my 3/8 angle. Hi, Corky from Brisbane, Australia. Thanks for being here. Okay, so with the these lines, they were kind of an afterthought, and I thought, of course, I want him to look like he's a stuffed teddy bear. Could not be simpler. 3/8 angle, moisture in your brush, a little bit of asphaltum on the toe of that brush only. And I'm going to go from his ear. Hopefully I have enough on there. Probably not. There. From his ear to his eye. And I'm just kind of shimmying. Shimmy, shimmy, shimmy that brush. Too dark, you can just touch it. Okay. And then on his belly, same thing. Just like that. Then for his eyes, we're going to go into black. Just the end of a paintbrush will give you a nice little round eye. Hopefully, well, that's way too big. So baby wipe, hello. Way, way, way too big. So I'm going to switch brushes because I don't want that big of an eye. Let's do this one. And I know I took away his little line. I'll put that back in. There we go. Oh my gosh, he's so cute. And while those are drying, let's go and put his nose on. So I did his nose with red spice. You could use burnt sienna. This is a new Deco Art color this year, and I think it's beautiful. So we'll get a small brush. Doesn't matter what brush. Just a small little brush that you can put that nose on. And the line drawing for me is not great, so I'm gonna improvise and put, it's a little triangle. Just a little triangle. Let's dry that. Asphaltum with a liner brush for his mouth. And when we shade it, it's going to look so cute. I'm just going to curl it up, give him a little bit more of a smile. And then let's see, that eye's still wet. Let's dry that real quick. Merry Christmas to you, Terry. Thanks for being here. Okay, so back to a little bit more of that asphaltum. And we're just going to paint that little line that comes in. And then I did give him little eyebrows. I just felt like he needed a little more face character, so put a little eyebrow in. Oh, love it. And then let's do another layer on his nose, again, which is that red spice. Switch that around and dry it. And we'll do all the finished shading and everything at the end. What's going to make him a little bit darker. So you can kind of decide if you want to, leave him that light or dark. I'm watching from Florida. Isn't it fun? Absolutely. Totally agree with you, Norma. It's so nice that we can connect. Oh my goodness, I just got my nails done and I just chipped it. Hello. All righty. So let's go back to the bow and do another layer of, this time I'm going to use, I used warm white to begin with, but this time I'm going to use titanium white. And we'll just get that shape back on. Way too much paint on my brush. You know why? Because that's gesso, which is fine too. It'll base coat. We just don't want any texture. Or maybe you do want texture on your bow. You can put texture on your bow if you want. The little knot. And that's what I love. Again, my membership group, we have people from Australia and India, Spain, Norway, all over Canada, all over the US. Okay. So that'll do. Now let's come right back down here to the ornament. We're going to let that dry. And I'm going to take care of the ornament before I do the topper. So lay that in place. And let me get another stencil brush. And some Red Alert. So Red Alert, gorgeous red color. Hi, Melissa. So some Red Alert, and again, I don't want it to be too much paint. It's going to go right up underneath that stencil, so let's wipe some of that off. But this time, instead of using a soft circular motion, which you can do, I'm going to tap it. I typically do not stipple stencil, only because I have arthritis and my hand doesn't like it. But we're going to get that red on there. Oh, so cute. And you can do it whatever color. But let's dry that. Nice and dry. And I have a cool technique. We're going to layer our stencils. I've done it before. You might have seen it, but I'm going to make sure that's nice and dry. Okay. And then let's do one more layer. This time I will do a little soft circular motion. There we go, just to make it nice and rich and dark and more opaque. Red Alert's a fantastic color, isn't it? Love it. Okay. Now, we don't want it too hot, so let it kind of cool down. I'm going to go back to that other stencil brush I have. Okay, so that had white on it, the off-white, the warm white from when we did the snowflakes. Because I'm going to lay down, and this is, y'all, if you watch any of my videos or you're in my membership group, you know that this is my favorite go-to stencil. I do carry it. It's a Tim Holtz Flourish Stampers Anonymous stencil. And you just want to pick a piece or a part that you like the best. And so I'm going to go, I'm going to try and get it to where maybe there. Okay, now lay your circle stencil right back over it. Line it up in place. Stencil brush, white, load it up, wipe off almost all the excess. And I just hold my stencils. You can always tape them down, but soft circular motion. I think I had way too much paint on my brush. We will see what happens. Okay, how cool is that? So that having that circle over the flourish stencil is going to help you go just in the area that you want to go in. Pretty cool, right? Am I hearing lots of oohs and ahs? Oh, you're from Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, but you are in Australia visiting family. Wonderful. It is on my bucket list to get to Australia. Okay. The other thing I'm loving, and I do love this when you paint. I can't paint the same thing twice exactly the same way ever. So I am liking his lighter color, but I'm also really liking the shape of his nose. So this one's a little bit, you know, kind of more out of whack than a very half circle. So again, leave it. If you like it, leave it. That's my #1 rule in painting. Okay, I'm going to rinse out my brush, 3/8 angle. I'm going to pick up some of that red alert on the toe of the brush, work that in. A little touch of Payne's Gray. Doxine Purple is another color that's really good to shade red, but that Payne's Gray with the red is actually going to make it look a little purplish. And the reason I like to put that red with it is I don't want the Payne's Gray to come off too harsh. And that red's going to help soften it a little. Okay, so let's darken that. You love his wee wonky nose. Yes, it's like he's well loved. Okay. Oh, that would be so cute, Linda. A Valentine bear. Maybe I should do a Valentine bear and have him holding a little heart or a little box of chocolates. That'd be super cute. Okay, so a little bit more. I'm gonna put a little more Payne's Gray with that. Work that in. And again, I'm just gonna go right around that back edge of the ornament, because remember the top's there. Bring it around here. And if you need to soften it, just along where you can see that floating off, not down to the heavy color. So if you have a difficult time floating color, this is my recommendation. Start out very light and faint. Build up if you want to make it a little bit darker, but dry it in between. Going wet on wet with a float of color, you're going to pick it up. And you also want to make sure it's not hot, because that's going to zap that paint right off your brush, and it's going to keep that where you lay the brush. Okay, now that's exactly the depth and darkness that I'm going for. Okay, now let's take care of the topper. So we're going to go back to that black. Let's get that. I think that goes all the way up to there. And you could lay the pattern back down and put that on, but or just wing it. And then I have that black. You know what, let me see if I have a stylus that has a big enough I do. So this stylus has a big enough ball on the end, or you can use a, a paintbrush, like I said. But I'm gonna load it up with black, dot it once. Let me get new black. That's got a nice film on it. Dot it on my palette, and go there. So dot. So I'll probably have a few more dots on it than I do on my original because I'm using the stylus instead of the end of a paintbrush. But that's okay. And I can make these a little bigger if I want, just by circling them around. Okay, I am gonna, got a little less round. Just gonna flatten those with my paintbrush handle. And then with a liner brush, just paint a little loop. Okay, now let's dry this. Aw, thank you, Lori. How are you doing? And what Lori just wrote, she loves the ball ornament. How cute would that be with a ball? Like for a gift, a baby gift. I think that'd be super cute. He'd be super cute, painted on a memory box or even paper mache or wooden box to give as a baby gift. Okay, so now I'm gonna take a little bit of white on that liner brush, and I think I'm out of white. And I'm gonna load that up, but then I wanna kind of get it to where it's a little bit of a dry brush. And I wanna do this little very loose U. I wanna make this dimensional. So I wanna do this little oval along the top. And I'm just dry brushing that color on. And then I'll come back with that black and bring it right back down. So now the top of that topper is dimensional, right? Okay. And then silver, silver, silver. So you can use whatever metallic you have. I love the Media line because it's highly pigmented, beautiful silver color. You do want to make sure that you, well, hello, that's enough silver for all of us to do this bear. But you do want to shake it up. So I'm gonna put on some silver and then swipe it across my paper towel just to get rid of the excess. And I'm gonna pull it down. And start right along the top. Now you're gonna get it on those little balls in the front at the bottom of your topper, and that's okay. You don't have to put the little balls on there. I just like the way it looks. And I love that silver over the black. So I'm gonna do a little line there with my liner brush. Well, hello, I went over the entire thing. And if you do, just bring it back. And then we want that topper to be silver as well, the little hook. Thank you, Carol. You could personalize the ball, absolutely. Pink, blue, absolutely. That'd be super cute. Lots of possibilities. So a little silver on that. Okay, and then I am gonna use the handle of the brush. And so you might have some black showing when you do this step, and that's okay. Now, let me show you the original, back to the original while this one's drying. So see the shading underneath the little balls there? And then we're going to put some lines on it just to give it a little bit more detail. Hi, Judy. Thank you. Okay, you know what? Those are going to take a minute to dry. So let me show you another trick when it comes to the fur. Great brush to use as well. If you don't have a small mezzaluna or a medium mezzaluna, these 3/8 stencil brushes work great too. And so with a little bit of white, and then I'm gonna just kind of swipe some of that off. I came back in and I did do a little bit brighter on his chest. There, and his ears and everything, but I would do that with the small mezzaluna, probably. You'll see, it worked just as well. Gives you a nice stippled little texture. Great little brush to use. Okay, so let's put that away. See if those are still wet. They are, so I think we're going to leave those and move on to the bow. And with that, I used the Red Alert and then also a little bit of plantation pine. So let me zoom in. We'll get a little bit of plantation pine, and whatever liner brush you have that you love, you can use that or a rigger. And I'm going to come into that plantation pine, some plantation pine and water, just to make it nice and inky. And I just wanted to give them a little bit of a plaid looking bow tie. So you can do a couple lines. And I'm doing similar to what I have on my original, but it's probably not exactly the same because there's not a pattern. It's just pulling some wiggled lines. Very, very thin. So a little pressure on your liner brush to none. Inky paint. Okay, and then we'll go the opposite direction. Oops, too much paint. And then maybe a little there. Okay, cute. And I do try to make them like different, so it, like the lines don't line up. Let's dry that. Bye, Anne. Have fun baking. Okay. Rigger brush. So a 0 or a 2 or just a small flat brush will work as well. But I'm going to pick up some of that Red Alert and then work that in. Just make it nice and inky. I'm going to swipe it across my paper towel because I don't want that much paint. And then I wanted a wider area of red, a wider band, if you will, and then maybe one there. There. Maybe a little at the top. Okay, and then a thinner line of red. So I will go back to that liner brush and just do A little thinner. It needs something right there. I'm going to go this way with that red. Cute. Okay, let's dry that. You could always make that red darker. You can make that green darker. Completely up to you. Get some of that silver on there. Okay, those are still wet, so I'm going to leave those. Let's come up to our face and 1/4 inch angle. And I'm going to use some asphaltum on the toe of my brush only and do a little shading. Now see how that just grabbed it off my brush? Because that's hot. So let it dry, or let it cool off, excuse me. It's a little float of color there. Little float of color there on the side of his eye. And then on his nose, I'm gonna add a little touch of Payne's Gray to that, just to get it to stand out a little more. So Payne's Gray and asphaltum on the left of his nose. I'm going to wipe that off. Pick up a little bit of asphaltum on the toe of the brush. And let's float that along the left side. And then let's soften that. I don't want that to be too harsh. Down his little line and then underneath his smile. And then soften very lightly. Very, very lightly. Underneath his eyebrows. That made him a little wide. And then let's keep with that 1/4 inch angle. Asphaltum on the toe. Maybe a tiny touch of Payne's Gray. And we're going to come right back in here. His ear. Get a little bit more of that. Look what I did. Right on my paper towel. Put red on his ear. Hello. Isn't it nice that you can fix it though? Yeah. We're going to put some yellow, some deep ochre. And then I'll come back with some of that light buttermilk. We don't want any red on him. You could do a little stife. Have you seen the stife bears? That'd be cute. Put a little tag in his ear. Okay, asphaltum. Let's start that over. Let's go to this one. Okay, so I'm going to do a little more shading where his ear meets his head. And then I wanted to come out a little to do almost like a little circle right there, his little ear. There. And it's not going to hurt to leave that yellow. We'll come back and fix that up. Okay, so this is where my bear started to get on the darker side, is with the shading. So again, if you want it to stay a little more this coloring, skip the Payne's Gray and just use asphaltum. Again, just that little zigzag motion. Okay. And then we'll soften that out. We'll go right up underneath, or right above the bow tie. Soften that. Okay, so again, you can see the difference. Let's take that liner brush with a little bit of white, and I'm going to give them a little dot. This is just when, to me, when things start to come to life is when you put an eye on. So a little dot and then a couple little dots there. I'm going to put a little highlight on his nose. There. Oh. Oh my goodness, that would be so cute with the gold, little rimmed glasses. So cute. You know what? I might add those to the one I did for OKC. Yes, I'm spreading red around my design, right? I don't want red there though. So I'm going to come back in with that. Light buttermilk. It's probably still going to have to leave it. He's going to have a dark spot. Okay, I'm going to go to my 3/8 angle. Pick up some of that asphaltum on the toe of my brush. Let me show you here on my palette. So on the toe of my brush, tiny touch of Payne's Gray. If you feel like it's migrating over to the other side, just pinch that off just a little bit on that corner. And then we're going to go right up underneath here. I want it a little bit darker. Right where his paw and leg meet, and arm. A little above there. Again, you can darken this, and I really made the little like pads dark on my original. Let me show you with more Payne's Gray. So I'm going to kind of not do as much Payne's Gray just so that you can see the difference. Let's get right in here. And then soften that. And I see what it is. I see what I did. I'm just going to show you right here. Because I love it when something happens and there's like a teachable moment. So see how the stippling of the paint made his foot just kind of go right up. I like that little round part. So you just come back with your black, and then I'll go over it with the asphaltum, which is my background color. And I can fix that up. Okay, it's going to look silly for a while, but that way you can see it's fixable. Okay, asphaltum, toe of my brush. Work that in. We're going to get his little paws. A little bit darker. And again, soften that out. Loose zigzaggy float of color. Soften, soften, soften. Let's get this nice and dark right here. Right where his belly meets his leg. And once you do the asphaltum, you know, if you're like, oh, I want it a little bit richer or darker there, again, more asphaltum, or you can put a little Payne's Gray with it. I'm gonna do a little bit of shading there. on his pad. Again, zigzag it so that you don't leave a straight edge. I'm just looking to see where else I need. Where his bow meets his arm. Okay, let's come to his bow. So little Payne's Gray on the toe of the angle brush, kind of work that in. I do have the breadboards in stock. They should be up on my website. Yep, hopefully it's not showing that it's out of stock, but I do have them. I got 100 of them in last week or the week before. I had been out of them. Because the penguin, when I did the penguin, y'all cleaned me out. Okay. Now, I did add a little color to the bow, a little bit of plantation pine on the toe of the brush. I wanted it to, without it being outlined or anything, I just wanted it to have a little more color without it being solid. So I just floated a little green along the bottom and side, both sides, I should say. Okay, like that. Thank you so much, Chris. I appreciate that. This is the difference in a line drawing too. So see you know, it's just, I forgot to paint it, and that's okay. Angle brush, rinse that brush out, get a little bit of white on the toe, just a little, work it in, because I want a little tiny highlight on the eye. So think of like a C stroke, or you're writing the letter C with the tip of that brush, the toe of that brush, a little bit of a C. Okay, and then I'm just going to work that into the brush like this. So it's just a little bit of white. I'm going to work it in. And I'm going to come here with the toe of the brush. And I just want to, let me get a little bit more. And I'm going to pick up a little light buttermilk too, because I don't want this stark. In fact, I think that's what my directions say is light buttermilk. But I'm going to come in and just make sure that this is uneven and furry looking. Nothing smooth or, manicured. Same thing with the ears, a little bit brighter. And I'm just using the toe of that brush right over that spot that I had it too dark. Maybe a little bit more on the head if you want to make that a little fluffier. You can always go to the mezzaluna instead of, messing with your angle brush, but I had it in my hand, so that's what I'm using. Okay. And again, you can always go back with a wash with that deep ochre if you want it more on the yellow side. A bit more of a highlight there. Okay, so back to the ornament. Let's take a small brush. So like this is a number 4 flat or 4 shader. And I'm going to pick up some of the Payne's Gray and lots of water. Okay, I'm going to move it to another place. See how light it's going to be. And then I'm going to come right up underneath, probably wiped off too much, I did. Right up underneath those dots and do a little cast shadow. Okay. And then I'm going to use a liner brush for that. Above, you can do the same thing, a little bit more Payne's Gray, if you're going to shade that. And then with the liner brush, and this is optional, you don't have to do this part, but I wanted it to look ridged, like an ornament topper. So I'm going to come in and paint some lines with Payne's Gray. Rinse that out. Back to the 3/8 angle. Toe of the brush with white. Work that in. My palette is horrendous. And then I'm going to do, again, like a C. And just do a little highlight stroke right there. Okay. And then I like to have it so you can't tell where it starts and finishes. So just kind of swipe your finger or swipe your finger. And then soften. And then I did come back with a little dot of white to highlight it. Okay, let me see if I'm missing anything. Again, a little darker shading, and I like that. And I like the shape of his nose. I have to say I like the shape of his nose on that one better than that. But same line drawing, and again, you can just kind of improvise and change it and move it. Let's take some of our Payne's Gray and medium Mezzaluna brush, load it up, wipe off a lot of that paint, and let's just do a little dry brushing shadow. So from his foot, the ornament, you can use your finger right at his foot. Okay. And I see a little bit more shading I need to do between him and that ornament. You think you're in love? Aw, what do you do with the excess paint on your palette after you've finished? I don't throw it away, Lucy. In fact, you can see there's a lesson in our membership group that shows you what I do with my leftover paint. And I should do a live on that sometime. It's super cool. I basically just take my paint, my palette. If I'm not doing something else, I do a couple things. I'll fold it in half and then I'll lay a journal page on top of it, and whatever happens, happens, and then I create with that. Or I'll show you something when we're done. Okay, let me see if there's anything else I need to do with that. The shading there. This stamp that I used is a Stampers Anonymous. I do carry this. It's a Tim Holtz Bold Tidings Mini. And it comes with all these little, let me zoom out just a little so you can see. All these little sayings. So you have some choices of what you want to use and what you pick. And I don't know, I just thought 'Tis the Season would be cute. Now, if it's really dark in this area, I would take some warm white and make it a little bit lighter, or you can always take paint and use it on your stamp. But remember that area right down there that I covered in? Let me get a little warm white on my Mezzaluna, and I'm just going to dry brush where we've fixed the shape of that. And actually, I'm going to leave that dark there as a shadow. Love it. 2 birds with 1 stone. Okay. Yeah, I didn't, but you could dry brush a little highlight on there as well. So I'm going to use Stays On ink. It's my go-to. Love it. And if you use these, You can get them at craft stores, whatever, but on Amazon, you can order the refill. Okay, so I probably have 25 stamp pads, mostly just from teaching classes. But now I use one and I ink it up with the refill. Okay, so you just want to make it nice and solid. Now, test it on something before you go. Piece of paper or something, just to see if it needs to, have more ink to it. Okay. Now you can put it on an acrylic block if you want to, but I'm just going to, or you can leave it on the lid for that matter. But I'm going to just take that off because I want to see where I'm going to place it. And we're going to put it right there. Press in place. Now, if your stamped image doesn't come out dark enough, then you can take a pen, permanent marker, or your rigger brush and make it darker if you want to. Now, some of that ink went there. Guess what? That's where you can come in with your brush, that warm white, maybe even a little asphaltum, which I'll do a little asphaltum there too. Okay, so the only other thing I did after that was I just highlighted it with a little bit of white. So, and nothing really major. Let me hold it up. You could use a pen if you want to, a thin pen, but I just did little lines. I didn't even shade around the letters like I normally do. Everything is very compressed and tight, so I just wanted to add a little something decorative without it being too much. So, just a little highlight line here and there. Just have fun with it. Hello, don't have that much fun, Sandy. Too much white. And y'all don't forget, on my website, you can use that discount code. You have to use all caps and hit enter for a discount on my website, all right? Unless you're in my membership group and you always have the best discount. Don't put that code in. Don't put that code in the comments, but okay, cute, right? Again, you could come in and do a little of that on the side if you wanted to. Make it stand out a little bit more. But you have options. Again, not to make it real fussy. That's super bright, isn't it? Okay. So let me see if there's anything else I need to do. I think there is. I think I see right there a little more asphaltum. This might fix that bow that I was thinking about right there. Yeah. Okay, now let's make sure everything is dry. I am going to take some of that, remember we did a little dry brushing with that Payne's Gray. I am going to dry brush a little bit up here. Again, just to make it look like he's sitting, because I have some darker shading on mine in that area. Okay, back to the number 4 flat. That number 4 flat and that inky Payne's Gray. And we're going to float that right up underneath some of these areas just to get a little bit more of a cast shadow, A little under his ears, maybe down that side of his face, just a little under that ear. I love doing the shadows that way. Maybe a little bit under his bow tie just to make it stand out a little bit more. And we can do a little bit more underneath the ornament. And then right out to that shadow. Okay. Rinse, 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 dry. And we have one thing, well, two things, and then we're done. Oh, thank you, Judy. The code is ART. Yes, thank you, Janet. I'll pop that back up again. A-R-T, all capitals. And you have to hit apply. If you don't hit apply, then it won't happen. So you have to do ART all caps and then hit apply. Okay, so I wanted to add a little splatter. And so I'm just gonna take, I don't know, like a number 8 flat, get it really wet, pick up some white, make it nice and inky, middle of the brush, middle of a brush, okay? And I put a little down here. Not coming off enough, so I need a little bit more white, little there, and I'm gonna put a little up here. Okay, now wherever you don't want it, like I don't want that one dot on his thing. If there's multiple dots, I leave them. But if it's just like one dot somewhere, I'll take it off. Then dry paper towel. We're gonna let it sit for just a second. And then I'm gonna lay it down and lightly touch it. And that's gonna give you a stained splatter look versus a heavy splatter look. And I love that. I'll hold it up so you can see. Okay, so see how it takes it down from being super like solid dot to being stained. Okay, baby wipe. Wrap it around your index finger. Put that into your palm of your hand. A little bit of asphaltum. And then I'm going to, wrist is on the inside of my surface. That is super, super important. And you don't have to go around all of it. You can just, hit a couple places here and there. Skip a little, or you can do the whole edge. But that's just going to draw your eye into that design. White looks beautiful as well. Get a little bit more of that frosted look. Okay, I love that little vignette look. Okay, how cute is he? Let me put that next to that one. Again, same pattern, slightly different, a little bit different shape, and I love it. Even his bow was a little different shaped, love it. And so let me, again, thank you guys so much for those that got the e-packet, greatly appreciate it. And then I wanted to touch on what Lucy asked about what I do with my leftover paint. So I'm looking for, let me see if I can find, I'll grab this. Just like a little, this is a little mat board. So one thing I love to do with my leftover paint, and when I first started teaching myself how to paint, this is something I did often. And that is to, let me find my brush. That's to practice stroke work or my roses or whatever. So again, this is mat board. It's going to, I typically will do it like on my art journal. So we'll just get that a little inky. And so use your paint to practice with. Okay, especially if you want to get better at stroke work, and the best way to do that is to practice. And what better use of your leftover paint than to, you know, practice with that, right? Okay, or let's get our 1/2 inch angle. These two right here are kind of my go-to things that I always stroke work. What it's going to do for you is it's going to help you with pressure, knowing when to push, when to pull, when to lift. And it's a great thing to practice often, even if it doesn't look good, because what it's teaching you and helping is that control of your wrist and that movement and pressure that you put on the brush. Oh, thank you, Terry. Appreciate it. Okay, and then just a little bit of asphaltum. And I'll just get in my little sections so I can find my rose shape. Okay. It's a great way, again, to test colors, to play around with colors. If you're like, oh, I don't know if that's going to look good, guess what? Just play with the leftover paint you have on your palette. If you have a yellow and a green, mix it together and see what pretty color, excuse me, if you've got a yellow and a blue, mix it together to see what pretty color green you might be able to make. That's another way that I learned how to mix color, was just practicing and doing it. Okay, I'm not going to sit here and paint this whole rose, but you get the gist. Again, just helps you with the shape of things, with color combinations, practicing that stroke work. That's not the right color. Okay, so see, again, just keep playing around. I love doing little stroke roses. Okay. Test out different brushes. If you're like, oh, I wonder if I could do that with that brush. I love doing scroll work with an angle brush. Okay. Again, you just can feel the movement of that brush, push, pull, slide, lift. The more you practice, the more, you know, is in the wrist of your hand, kind of that muscle memory, I say. And just play and have fun. That's the ugliest rose ever, but hopefully that will give you an idea of what to do with your palette. The other thing is, this is what I did with my group, is do that. Undo it. Usually I have more paint than that. Lay your journal page down. Wherever it goes, and super fun thing you can create with that. Again, I might have to do a lesson on that in the new year, but I do like to keep my member lessons pretty separate. So there are our bears. Let me see if OKC, do they have festivals? I don't know. I don't know. Just play the colors and brushes. Absolutely, Sue. It's the best way you get to know things that go together. Thank you, Chris. I appreciate you putting that technique information over there on YouTube. Now, let's see. Did that go? That didn't go. How is that for a live? Again, streaming to both YouTube and my Facebook page with no glitching, no interruptions. Super stoked about that. So guys, listen, thank you so very much. This is my last live with you guys for the year. I always wear my emotions on my sleeve, so I'm gonna try not to get emotional, but I greatly, greatly appreciate you guys watching the lives, commenting, liking, sharing, telling your friends about it, shopping on my website. Greatly, greatly appreciate it because you guys allow me to do what I love to do and what I'm passionate about, and I'm not going to get emotional about it. So if you're in my membership group, I will see you on Tuesday because we have a lesson Tuesday night, last one of the year. But again, guys, thank you so much. I hope you enjoy painting him. I hope you'll paint him. And when you do, share a picture with me, okay? Thank you so much. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy everything, Happy Sunday. Have a fantastic week. And like I always say, don't forget to get those brushes out, get that paint out, and do something creative. Now, let me say this. If you're finding yourself in a rut and you don't know what to do and you don't know what to paint, grab a surface, grab a paint color, and just paint it. Just base coat it. That action, that motion of doing something creative will lead to more creativity, okay? I cannot wait to paint lots with you guys in the new year. Have a lot of fun things coming. Santa's bringing me a really amazing gift that I can't wait to share with you guys in the new year. And yeah, have a good one. Let's make it a creative one. Be safe, be well, enjoy your family and your friends during this holiday season. And again, from the bottom of my heart, thank you, thank you, thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. Thank you to my friends that help in the comments and everything else. And so see y'all later. Bye.